Okay. Are you prepared to tell me all the opinions that you're going to make at trial in this matter today?
Yes, so my understanding is that there was a deposition of chiropractor suite that took place that I haven't reviewed. Also understand Dr. Hodik was just deposed, and Dr. Light's going to be deposed. So this will generate additional information. So if I review those deposition transcripts, I may have more opinions.
Are you aware that Dr. Sweet was deposed some time ago? On July 30th, 2020?
Yes.
Okay, and you've not been provided with Dr. Sweet's deposition, is that correct?
Not yet.
And you intend on reviewing that deposition after your deposition today?
Possibly.
Okay. Did counsel for Miss Lynn ever send you additional records from Summit Pain Alliance and Petaluma Specialty Center after August 26, 2020?
I don't think I had any more clinical records after August 26, 2020.
Okay. In your evaluation of the plaintiff, would it have been helpful to know that Mr. Garcia had an epidural injection at L5-S1 11 days before you evaluated him?
Yes, it would have been helpful.
Does the fact that Mr. Garcia had a third epidural injection 11 days before you evaluated him, does that change any of your opinions as stated in your report of August 26, 2020?
Well, obviously, if I had records pertaining to the third epidural injection, I would have indicated this as part of the treatment that the plaintiff had.
Do you agree with me that you do not have a doctor-patient relationship with Kelman Garcia?
I do.
Would you agree with me that Kelman Garcia had degenerative disc disease in his lumbar spine before the June 4th, 2018 collision?
Do I agree with that?
Yes.
Is that the question? Yes, I agree with that.
You would agree with me that degenerative disc disease made him more susceptible to suffer an injury to the L5-S1 disc in this collision, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
I don't think he sustained an injury to L5-S1 disc.
Would you agree with Dr. Hodik that Mr. Garcia's lumbar spine had pre-existing spondylitic changes?
I have not reviewed Dr. Hodik's deposition, but I do agree that he had pre-existing spondylitic or degenerative changes.
Would you agree with me that a medical doctor with special training in the spine is better suited to diagnose a disc injury than a chiropractor?
I agree with that.
Do you agree that a degenerative condition that is asymptomatic can then undergo trauma from a car crash and become symptomatic?
I agree with that.
We can agree that in this collision, Mr. Garcia suffered some form of injury and pain to his back, correct?
Objection compound. You can answer.
Correct.
Okay. And you identified the injuries as a lumbar sprain and strain, correct?
Yes.
And exacerbation of pre-existing multi-level lumbar degenerative disc disease and facet arthropathy, correct?
Arthropathy, correct.
Have you relied on any opinions from Dr. Ewers in this case?
I don't think I've seen any records from Dr. Yours?
Have you ever spoken with Dr. Ewers?
I don't think so.
Can we both agree that this crash was not a low-speed crash?
Objection calls for speculation. Incomplete hypothetical.
Yes, we can agree on that.
Would you agree with me that when Dr. Sweet evaluated Kelman Garcia's lumbar flexion, it was restricted to about 45 degrees?
Are you referencing June 6th?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, let me look at his notes from June 6th. I agree with that.
Thank you. Would you agree with me that when Rodney Sweet, the chiropractor, examined Kelman Garcia's lumbar extension on June 6, 2018, the extension was limited to 5 degrees?
I agree with that.
Would you agree with Dr. Sweet that Kelman Garcia's low back pain started with the June 4, 2018 collision?
Objection calls for speculation.
Yeah, I have not seen Dr. Sweet's deposition.
Isn't it true that you base a large part of your opinion on the records of Rodney Sweet, the chiropractor?
So my records are based on all the objective evidence that I'm given. That includes chiropractic records, pain management records, imaging studies, depositions, Dr. Light's records, my own examination. So that all comes together, and that's the basis for my opinions.
Do you have any criticism of Dr. Sweet's final evaluation of Mr. Garcia's low back from the perspective of a spinal surgeon?
Objection vague and ambiguous.
So medical notes, they're typically done in a SOAP format. So subjective, which is something that patient comes in with. Objective, which is the examination, and then assessment and plan. And so the chiropractic notes don't seem to follow that pattern, at least in this case. The initial note was somewhat reminiscent of a SOAP-type format, but the subsequents were not. They were just records of manipulations being done on multiple occasions. So this is not record keeping that's expected of a medical doctor, but I don't know what's expected of a chiropractor.
Have you seen any evidence of a subsequent injury-producing event between October 29th, 2018 and December 4th, 2018?
I haven't.
That'd be a no?
I haven't.
Okay. And when you tested Kelman Garcia's lumbar extension, again, it was limited at 10 degrees, which was the exact same as how Dr. Howe found it, correct?
Right. It was limited by pain. So what that implies is that it's not just dead stop, that he probably can go more, but I typically ask them to stop when they experience pain. And, you know, the numbers speak for themselves, so it's the same number that we just saw in Dr. Howe's records.
Agree that the first epidural injection that Dr. Howe gave Kelman Garcia on January 7th, 2019, provided Mr. Garcia some pain relief from his symptoms?
So I missed the first word. Do I agree? Was that the question?
Can we agree on this?
We can.
Can we agree that Kelman Garcia experienced relief from the third epidural injection on July 13, 2020?
I think you asked me this earlier, and I haven't reviewed records pertaining to the third injection. I was aware that this was something that Dr. Howe recommended for the future, but I haven't been given the records pertaining to that.
Have you ever seen evidence of a workers' compensation claim related to Kelman Garcia?
I have not.
Can you say with a reasonable degree of medical probability that Mr. Garcia's ongoing back complaints are the result of a work-related injury?
I cannot, because I haven't seen any evidence of work-related injury.
Can you say with a reasonable degree of medical probability that Mr. Garcia's ongoing back complaints are the result of his lack of exercise?
So, in a very similar fashion, I referenced the exercise and sedentary lifestyle in my report. And so, if he doesn't engage in regular exercise, it is another risk factor for lower back pain, chronic or recurrent episodes of back pain.
Did the collision of June 4th, 2018 contribute at all to Mr. Garcia's current ongoing back complaints?
So, in my opinion, it contributed to his complaints for 3 or 4 months after the accident, but not the current ones.
Your testimony, this collision had zero contribution to the ongoing back pain that Mr. Garcia is experiencing now.
Well, in my opinion, so the collision that we're talking about had no significant contribution. It's a minimal.
Did the June 4th, 2018 collision contribute at all to the back pain Kelman Garcia had when you evaluated him?
No.
Did the June 4th, 2018 collision contribute at all to the leg pain Kelman Garcia complained of when you evaluated him?
No.
Following the June 4th, 2018 collision, when is Mr. Garcia pain-free in the low back such that the collision no longer has any non-trivial effect on his presentation of back pain?
It looks like towards the end of October.
What do you base that opinion on?
So I based that opinion upon the records of chiropractor Sweet, who documented what the claimant told him at every visit.
And again, you didn't take the time to read Dr. Sweet's deposition, did you?
So I
Objection asked and answered.
Yeah. So I was not given the transcript of the chiropractor deposition yet.